Hi everyone. Welcome to a video on PowerSchool and Schoology training that is going to focus on setting up your gradebook. Now this is the first video in a 4-video series. We're going to be looking at setting up the categories in this first video. Then in future videos, we're going to be looking at weighting those categories, making sure everything is set up in Schoology and everything between Schoology and PowerTeacher is properly linked. So we're talking about categories for a class. We are looking at how we set up our gradebook. Now we're not worrying about the percentages, we're worrying about the types of assignments we're going to be grading kids on. Tests, quizzes, papers, projects, labs, homework, all of this sorts of things. So in order to do this, we need to go into PowerTeacher. So once you have logged into PowerTeacher, you'll see all of your current classes listed. What I'd like you to do is to pick one of your classes and then open PowerTeacher Pro for that class. So once you are here, you're going to see information relating to this specific class, but luckily when we're setting up categories, we can set them up for all of our classes at once if we so choose. So once you are in your PowerTeacher Pro, right now it's the beginning of the term, we don't have any assignments, that's great. So if we click on grading here, and you go to categories, you will see the categories that were initially inputted into the system. Now, these are categories you can use, or these are categories that you cannot use. If you don't want to use them, what you want to do is to go to the Edit button over here and click and make it inactive. So I'm going to save that. Now, let's say perhaps you did want to use it. I would recommend going to the Assignment Defaults tab and making sure things are set appropriately that you would like. So because for my classes, I'm actually going to inactivate all of these and set up my own categories. Going to do that, and this way I can start fresh and do exactly what I want to do for my own classes. Now, if you click this Show Inactive button here, they will show up again. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I got rid of it, I want it back, I can't get it back. If you click Show Inactive, they will come back here. Now to add in your own categories, go to the plus sign up on top where it says Create, and I'm going to go down to Category. So the first category name that I'm going to set up for my class is going to be called Assessments. So for me, I know assessments are going to be quizzes, tests, projects, things along that line. Oops, it would be good if I can spell that correctly. All right, so you could pick a color for it. You've got a wide range here. I'd probably recommend not having everything be the same color. I'm going to have this set to all my classes because I know this category works for all of my classes. But if you have a category that's specific to one class or the other, right, especially if, say, you teach in multiple divisions, multiple departments, you can just choose the appropriate categories or appropriate classes through here. Now I'm going to go to Assignment Defaults, and I am going to unclick the Publish Scores button. I don't mind if students see the assignments on here, although I'm actually, for the high school, going to click Never here so the students don't get that individual feedback. Because when it comes to PowerSchool, we are not using this as an open gradebook. So I'm just going to say the assignments are never published, the scores are never published. My score type here is going to be based on points. Okay, that's how I tend to grade it. But if you have a category that's based on, say, letter grade or percentage or things like that, feel free to, choose what is appropriate. You typically don't have to worry about the extra points or the weight. This is not something you really have to worry about. Now, score entry points, this sets a default score. This is not, you are not set to always using this number. But what it will do is when you start to create an assignment, it will just have that as the default, and then you can go in and edit it. This can be really helpful if you know, say, your homeworks are always worth 5 points or 10 points. Your tests are always worth 100 points. But if you're someone who your points vary quite a bit, you can just pick an approximate number and then edit from there for each assignment. So for me, I'm going to say 50 points. Count in traditional final grade. Yes, I do want all of my grades to count. Uncheck this if you are just keeping track of assignments, but not adding it towards a final grade. For example, if you collect homework and you grade homework, but you don't want that to count towards their final grade, you can uncheck this box. For me, this is all my tests and projects, so I'm going to click yes, count. So once I save, I can see my assessments tab is going to be active, and it's sending out to all classes. Okay, I'm going to walk through fairly quickly, adding 3 other categories for myself. So I'm a science teacher, so I'm going to have a labs category. I'm going to change the color to green. I'm going to make that active. This works for all of my classes. Feel free to add a description for these if you feel like you need to. I don't feel like I personally need to. I'm not going to have these published. It's going to be based on points. I say it's approximately 10 points per lab for me, and I'm going to save. Okay, I have another category. So this is homework, classwork. Let's see, what color will that be? Let's make that orange. Active. Let's check my categories here. I don't want to publish these online. Again, it's going to be by points. Say 2 points. These assignments for me are typically pretty small. And I'll click save. Okay, I'm going to add one final category for myself. And I do a final exam or project category. What I do is going to vary in each class. So, as a general category, that works out well. We'll make that purple. Again, I'm not going to publish that on PowerSchool. It's going to be based off of points, and we'll say 100 points for there. So now for each of my classes, I'm going to have access to these 4 categories. In the next video, we'll show you how to weight the categories so your final total grade will calculate appropriately. Hope this helps. Let me know what questions you have.